Hello and welcome again to Latina Voices Smart Talk. I'm Minerva Perez with my co-hostesses Sofia Adrogué and Patricia Graz.
And we're a talk show about universal topics with a Latina perspective.
And today we'd like to engage you in a topic that is still being discussed around the nation and worldwide. The unprecedented political season, achieving milestones in race and gender, in which indeed our nation, the entire world as well, tuned in.
It was the longest one too. The presidential campaign started 2 years before Election Day, and every day proved to be like none seen before. For one, we've never had an African American nor a woman at the top of the ticket, and that was just the beginning. But ladies, right now, let's talk about what's happening with the economic meltdown in this country. I mean, it is spread not just through the United States, but worldwide.
Yeah, it's been months
thing.
since the meltdown on the $700 billion package. I think it'll be interesting to see more accountability in the next couple of months to see what's really happening with this money and what effect it'll have in the long term. We still don't know.
Well, what did you do? I just ran to my financial advisor.
You do what you can if you have a financial advisor. Do what you can, and then try to be a little smarter about the decisions. I suspect all of us across the country were a little smarter. Thought twice about that extra Starbucks, whatever it may be. And it also, quite frankly, emphasized how truly global we are. We are connected. I mean, it was unprecedented in terms of the fact, you know, the monies came from all across the world. Right. I mean, you had banks being bailed out by other countries, right. not only North America, but the Swiss, et cetera, as well. And it really was the economy stupid. Yeah. But now, what do we all do to make sure it doesn't happen again?
Well, I'll share some of the things that I did. Definitely tighten our belts. I mean, I think that's something that we're all going to be doing. But like, I started bringing lunch to work. Good. I mean, you save money on food and you save money on gas. I'm trying to refrain from making large purchases. No cars, no major purchases right now. No, if the kitchen breaks down, sorry. And you know, just drive less, walk more, just basic things that
everything adds up. It really does.
Yeah.
Well, and it's amazing. I wasn't aware some of the very basic things. Just right after the 700 billion, the whole demise. Flour was up 37%,
right.
Milk 13% alone. So what's transpired, it doesn't just affect us at the big picture levels, let alone not buy a new car or a house or whatever, but it affects just going to the supermarket and the decisions you make.
Absolutely, it's supply and demand. I mean, as soon as we start purchasing less, prices go down, and so that's a good thing, right? So
less tortillas, right?
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So I think that Sophia's right. We have to think a lot more about how we spend our money and how to be smarter with our money.
Yeah, and it's going to take a long time to recover from this, because it started with not just the banking industry, but the mortgage industry.
Right.
I mean, that's really where it all started. And until they fix those two industries, how is it going to ripple effect to us?
And also the volatility of the markets lasted a while, and that was scary, but I think people need to remain calm in these seasons.
I mean, it was 1,000 points, 900
and
points.
look at the advantage of maybe buying stock because it's a lot cheaper, but do it in a smart way.
Oh, that's
I think all of us are going to have to get back to basics, and buy what you can afford, and leave it there. Leave it there. Exactly. How about that for?
That makes sense.
For something, for a tip, actually.
Right.
Well, we're going to be talking a lot today, okay? The presidential elections.
Absolutely.
I mean, they were incredible this year.
Yes.
I mean, nobody's ever seen anything like this. The presidential race became about race. When we come back, a frank talk about what happened to U.S. politics. Will we ever see it again? Be right back.
Welcome back. Our newsmaker is Vote 2008. This past political season was one for the record books.
We witnessed voter registration at an all-time high nationally, and at least according to some polls. The Democrats outpaced the Republicans, and potentially the Democrats grew by 5% their voter base, and Republicans lost about 2%, at least according to some statistics.
That's according to some statistics,
yes.
Right. We have two experts on the political season, and we want them to tell you how they see things.
And they're the stars of the PBS show Red, White, and Blue. Former Harris County Republican Party Chairman Gary Polland and attorney and Democratic activist Dave Jones.
Welcome
to both of you.
Was that a political season or what?
Yes, and of course only stars can talk about it.
Of course, and you are the stars.
Actually, that's the first time that star has been connected to my name.
Oh, well. But it's a good thing. Go with it.
Well, actually, I played football in high school, and you know, I think it might have happened then.
Sure,
you know, when I was 18. So it's been 40 years or so since. But
Whoa.
what else do we need to talk about?
Well, I want to ask y'all about the Democrats and Republicans after this election. How do we get civility back? How do we get bipartisanship back in our government?
He's pointing
on
to-
both
he's pointing to
sides,
Gary.
on the Republican side and on a Democratic side.
I think that we certainly need to be able to talk to each other. But what has happened in Washington, and I think increasingly in Austin, is a culture of each party being against whatever the other party stands for, regardless of the merits. And Sophia made a comment off the air that we really need to start looking again at individuals and issues. That's what we need to be talking about. So if a Democratic solution from a Democratic member of the House or Senate is better than what the Republicans come up with, there's no reason why we can't work together just because it's a Democratic idea, and vice versa. But both parties are guilty of this attacks on both your houses. I won't deal with Democrats, I won't deal with Republicans, and I think the American people are frustrated with it. I think in this instance, in this campaign we had, John McCain actually was a candidate who had reached across the aisle on a number of occasions. I think Obama said he was going to do that, but never really has, and hopefully he will in the future. But I think that's what the American people want to see. We've got serious problems in this country. We have an economy out of whack, responsible again by both parties.
He's once again, this is a flawed analysis.
Why?
Because voters don't behave that way in terms of just looking at individuals and making these individuals. That's a very free market, free enterprise, libertarian way of thinking.
The marketplace of ideas.
Voters don't,
David.
They look for Democrats and Republicans, and they look to see who's on their side, and then they vote. So if you want to stop this bickering that you're talking about, it's going to take a new realignment of our politics to get there.
But isn't it a situation where I think the average American doesn't like either extremes, okay? Most of us don't like the extreme of the Republican Party nor the extreme of the Democratic Party. The truth be told, I think most of us are around the middle. And that is why I actually think what Gary's saying about whether maybe it's not the individual issues, but somewhere where there's a bit more synergy between the positions, because I don't think people like extremes on either side.
I don't even know what the extremes are on that you're talking about on the left side. It's if you want a healthcare system that gives everybody an opportunity, there's only one party that's talking about that, and that's not an extreme position to talk about getting healthcare to everyone. Here's the fundamental difference between Gary and I, and Republicans and Democrats, if you will. I absolutely put faith and trust in the collective judgments of this government when I know it is free from influence of money that would like to have it behave otherwise.
Such
Such as trained, disciplined, and well-paid members of government regulatory agencies. I will put my faith and trust in them to provide something before I will some insurance agent who is making the decisions right now on medical care. All right, and so that's where you have to decide. You have to decide, do you want to put it in the hands of the Department of Health in the government, or whatever it's called, and how it's managed, such as we do in Medicare, which has one of the lowest administrative costs anywhere in any country's system of health care. Medicare runs fine. And all the seniors in this country like it. It's similar to what the Canadians have.
That's not true.
And ask them if they want to give it up. And so I'm saying, what about Medicare for everyone? All right? Pretty easy. Pretty easy.
Instead of just
and I concede this point, Gary. I concede this point. It is going to take rationing. We are not going to just be able to say, oh, I want every test you can give me, and maybe I'll pay the bill later.
Well,
no.
Here's the problem. What David's talking about with Medicare, it's one size fits all. I have personal experience because my mother fell and broke her hip.
But
she's in the hospital.
But that's just for the
she
elderly.
gets 60 days of rehabilitation under Medicare, whether she needs 45, whether she needs 90.
Yeah.
It's 60 days, and after 60 days, adios. Exactly. That's the problem with the system. The present system should be, the system ought to be changed. We should empower individuals with the ability to make the decisions about health care and have them be able to make decisions also related to financial. So it's a mess, it's a problem. But David trusts the government and says, oh, we can trust these regulators and we won't have any problems.
Keep that thought. We're going to be right back, okay?